A very good morning to Miss Farhana. I'm Gwendoline with the matrix number 66063. Among the journals that I have reviewed, one issue that had particularly caught my attention is the need to create a truly sustainable economic system for the country. Truth to be told, this is still far from being achieved, as the global economy and society are too fractured and lack homogeneity to admit to the weakness of their own economic system, as well as adopt other cultures' economic system that is best suited to their economic needs due to their pride and ego. They have failed to see that in order to have a sturdy economic system which can sustain continuous economic growth, they will have to try to cultivate the vision of a genuinely pluralistic world, an open society with the free exchange of ideas, technologies, goods, services, finance, and of the movement of human beings. The process, if it is to be successful and respectable, should be transparent and reciprocal. It should not be based primarily on the interest of particular groups of institutions, and certainly not susceptible to influence by those rich and powerful. For it to be truly efficacious, it must be nothing else but fair and unified, as hegemonistic system will only be effective if the power equilibrium remains constant, but it is logical to say that power equilibrium always changes. Hence, in my opinion, rather than visualizing having one dominant system, policymakers should place their focus on developing components of a truly pluralistic world, where various elements can carry out each of their own roles. But this brings about some reservations, in my opinion. I have strong reservations if the Muslim world would ever willingly accept the hegemony of global capitalism, as it is now evolving, despite their openness to mutually beneficial cooperation and cross-fertilization of ideas and experiments. Capitalism does contain some elements that are universal and as such common with other economic systems, but it also contains a great deal that is specific to its own historic and cultural context, which makes its incursions into the non-Western world suspicious and destabilizing. The divergence of interest, aspirations, and value frameworks pose not only formidable obstacles to a single overarching global system, but also raises a range of questions about its desirability. Western-style capitalism has not been an unmixed blessing in all parts of the world. In particular, many people in the Third World have been excluded from its benefits, and neither has its performance in Europe and America been entirely satisfactory. The specter of poverty is haunting half of the human race. Unemployment is rife in mature capitalist countries, and debt mountains are breaking the bones not only of people in poorer regions of the world, but also in the industrialized countries. The genie of financial instability cannot be put back in its bottle, and excessive inequalities remain festering on humanity body. Therefore, it can be seen that capitalism has to do a lot of work to set its own house in order before it can catch the attention and agreement from the rest of humanity. This is also why British economist John Harry Dunning conducted a study which aims to develop a vision not of classical or contemporary capitalism, but of responsible global capitalism, as capitalism has yet to prove that it can become responsible in every sense of the word. The moral dimensions that are missing in the present setup can improve the prospects of capitalism, but we need the vision of a more responsible world system where equal opportunities exist for people belonging to other economic alternatives based on different faith systems and cultures. Therefore, in conclusion, it is important for policymakers to place their focus on developing components of a truly pluralistic world, depending on their own economic needs to have a truly sustainable economic system for their country. That would be all for my presentation. Thank you.